almost everyone you talk to, they'll tell you that what makes a hot rod is the individual style and the custom work that goes into every vehicle. And now here's Terry McGavern to talk to us a little bit about the techniques and equipment of today's car builder.
Well, thanks, Frank. And as you mentioned, today we're going to talk about welding and welding equipment. Today we've got some welders and cutters supplied by Miller Electric. We've got a nice little 200 amp Mig Welder here that we use in our shop. And the concept of the Mig Welder, you've got a very simple gun here, and inside the machine you've got a 30-pound spool of wire. This wire feeds through the machine and comes out the gun. Very simple to operate. You have a ground cable, you've got your gun, you've got a bottle of gas here that supplies the shielding gas to give you a nice clean weld. The concept of this again is strike the arc, you make your puddle of weld. Very, very simple, very fast, very efficient. This particular machine operates on 220 volts. You can weld anything from sheet metal on up to very heavy metal. So it's kind of a good all-around machine that we like to use. At the same time, we've got this Miller plasma cutter here, and this is a very heavy machine. This machine will cut anything from sheet metal all the way up to 3/4 inch thick steel. It'll also cut aluminum and it'll cut stainless steel. And the idea of this machine is to cut with a very low heat. This uses a plasma stream that comes out of the end of this gun. Just got a simple button on it. You've got your ground wire, very similar to the welder, only you get your plasma gas and you just cut along, make yourself a nice scribe line or a chalk line or anything like that, and you can cut your piece of metal. Very, very efficient and very fast. The other thing we're going to talk about today is our safety equipment here in the shop. From our welding helmets all the way down to our leather gear. Any type of safety equipment that we have to protect us from the welds. Variety of pieces of equipment that we use today. One of the nicer pieces that we use is this helmet that I'm holding here today. And what this is a helmet that's got a battery pack inside. Instead of the standard flip up, flip down on your normal helmet, you just put this helmet down, and this has got an automatic sensor in it that in just a flash of a second, you strike the arc, this thing goes dark. You let off the arc and it comes back to light so that you can see what you're doing. You never have to flip this helmet up. You can do a series of spot welds. You can be underneath your car working with this helmet and not have to flip it up and down, as is the case with a standard welding helmet. There's ultraviolet rays that are coming off of these welds. They're very, very bright. They're very, very hot. And even a guy that's welding beside you can get welding flash from your weld, which kind of leads us into another piece of equipment, which is this safety screen we have here. This will protect anybody that's near you from getting any welding flash. And by welding flash, I don't mean a skin burn. By welding flash, I mean you can burn your eyes. And it's a very serious thing that can happen, and you don't even have to be the guy welding. All you have to do is be near that guy welding. So we use these pieces of equipment here, this screen in our shop, to kind of protect from that. The other thing that this is good for, when you're done doing your welding, and you're grinding that weld clean, you've got sparks that are going to be flying. Not only with the sparks, but you've got little chips of metal that are going along with that. And there's somebody standing beside you, they could get that piece of metal in their eye. So this screen will also protect you against that. Along with that, you have your welding clothing, from the jacket all the way down to full leather pants that will protect you. These sparks are very hot. There are also metal particulates in there that could also penetrate the skin. So we like to really protect ourselves with the clothing. Very important factor of that. And there are different types of gloves, from the very heaviest gloves to very light gloves. This equipment is not that expensive for the protection you get out of it. So it is relatively important that you use the correct gear. Okay, I've made this sound pretty easy, haven't I? Really nothing to it. You've got a gun, you pull the trigger after you've turned the on-off switch on, of course. But there's a little bit more to it than that. It's very important that you learn the trade of welding. This isn't just something that you go home in an afternoon and weld the family car back together after it's been in an accident. You really need to learn this skill. Very important. I can't stress it enough. Please get professional instruction with this welding equipment. You can make a real nice pretty weld, nice smooth, no lumps, no holes, but it may not be a good strong weld. And that's the important ingredient here, is that you know what you're looking at. If you need more help with any of these questions, any of these problems that we've talked about, any of these machines, contact your local welding supplier. Those guys are usually pretty good guys, and they'll give you probably the help that you need or send you in the right direction where you could get that help.